Hi guys, welcome to our channel. We have started a new series of movies reviews in which we will tell you about the movie, what is right and what is not in this movie. The way Lee tells the story which aside and history lessons and cutaway and tricks that have become the director's singular cinematic vocabulary make it a must-see in these stormy times. Spike Lee's The Five Bloods, his first feature since the Oscar-winning Black Klansman in an angry, incendiary and extraordinarily timely film that surveys decades of racism in the United States with a sharp, unflinching eye. Friends must like our videos because it takes a lot of effort to make a video. One request from all of you before starting the videos: like our videos to encourage us and we can make more great videos for you. Let's move on to today's video. And the way Lees tell the story which aside and history lessons and cutaway and tricks that have become the director's singular cinematic vocabulary make it a must-see in these stormy times. Spike Lee's The Five Bloods, his first feature since the Oscar-winning Black Klansman, is an angry, incendiary and extraordinarily timely film that surveys decades of racism in the United States with a sharp, unflinching eye. It is also an adventure story about a quarter of Vietnam vets who return to the country where they once fought to find the remains of their scarred leader and also dig up some buried treasure that they left behind in 1968. One of those things is significantly more involving than the other, and you probably don't need much help figuring out which one it is. The in-country track at the heart of the film is pretty routine. Bali's studies, it's the way he tells that story, the aside and the history lessons and the cutaway and the tricks that have become the director's singular cinematic vocabulary that make it a must-see in these stormy times. Sprawling and expansive. At more than 2.5 hours, The Five Bloods is Lee Vietnam epic a journey up the river with more than a few notes to apocalypse now. Wagner's rise of the Valkyries even show up at one point. The more it has on its mind, the better it is, because the vitality of Lee's filmmaking lies not in the way he shows these guys hiking throughout the jungle, but in all the other stuff he throws at us along the trail. It doesn't have the focus or the concentrated punch of the Black Klansman, but at time of Black Lives Matter protests around the country, it feels urgent and even necessary even in the non-theatrical Netflix release necessitated by coronavirus theaters closing. The film starts with Muhammad Ali in 1967 talking about why he refused to fight in Vietnam. No Vietonging ever called me no. That's followed by a barrage of clips from the time Malcolm X speaking, Tommy Smith and John Collins protesting at the 1968 Olympics, the killings at Kansas State, set to the strains of Marvin Gaye, whose sweet but outdated album What's Going On is here again and again throughout The Five Bloods. When we arrive at the present day, it's in the lobby of a vacant second hotel where four Vietnam vets are meeting for what seems to be the first time in years. Paul, Eddie Otis and Melvin, played by Delroy Lindo, Norman Levis, Clark Peters and Lesh Whitelock, are served rogue. They're in the late 16th century and left unfinished business behind in the remote Vietnamese countryside. The body of their commander, Norman, played in the flashbacks by Chadwick Boseman, and buried carry crate full of $17 million in gold bars that were to have been given by the US government to the South Vietnamese for helping them fight the Vietcong. The movie shifts abruptly from the present day to 1968, shifting into a tighter aspect ratio and more assertive war movie music from Terence Blanchard as it is, but there is little attempts to de-age the actors, much less replace them with younger, doubler teenagers. Even when it's set 15 years ago, The Five Bloods is a movie about now, and besides, we don't really want to take our eyes off Lindo, Levis' speeches, or Whitelock, or of Jonathan Major, the lost black man in San Francisco who shows up as David Paul's right son. Early on, David meets a young French woman played by Marlene Thierry, whose purpose for being in Vietnam. She is working to locate unexploded landmines, means that we will never again feel comfortable watching any of these men walk across an open patch of land. As they head off on their journey, the man-mock movies like Rambo, which show fictionalized and white heroes refighting and winning the war, patched this day to tell the story of real black heroes, both in Vietnam and back in the US. Lee obliges them to cutting to footage of the real heroes they were talking about. Of course, he always returns to the story of his fictional heroes and anti-heroes, which began his life as a Danny Wilson, Paul DeMeo script about white veterans before Lee and Kevin Wilmot gave it an overhaul. The sides and cutaways give the film as massive vitality characteristic of Lee's recent work and insist that we never relax into the Five Bloods as an adventure story. Note that we had one to the pointed history lessons that sprinkled throughout the film are Lee's version of doing what Norman tells his team at the one point. And not and no nobody use our rage against us. We control our rage. Lee's rage drives much of the film, in which the Watts quest finding the treasure and the body is complicated by PTSD, guilt, and fury at being sent into combat by a country that doesn't give you the rights you are supposed to be fighting for overseas. Those complications give the plot an edge, but the story still sags. In its central section, when the flashbacks disappear for a while and the focus shifts to whether they will find what they are looking for. When Lee is telling that story, he is less interesting than when he is spinning in, embroidering it and dancing around it. Still, the Five Bloods is always involving, and Linda's monumental performance turns Paul and Amtered Trump's spotter with the ghost he can't face into a figure out of a Shakespearean tragedy. In the home stretch, much of that performance is delivered straight into camera, and the theatrical concept is entirely in keeping with what's come before. After all, these guys have had a habit of talking with all of them facing the camera for the whole movie. It doesn't feel real, but it feels true. And when the film after one character utter madness Lee's version, it seems of Marlon Brandon's the horror from Apocalypse Now, it's hard to disagree. Our goal is to introduce you every Hollywood movie and English TV series. We express your opinion in comments below and let us know how you like our videos. Share our channel and thumbs up on our videos. If you have liked this informative video, then press the below like button and encourage us. Thanks for watching.